It is a great honor and a privilege to introduce Chaya Weill. Your maiden name is Weiss. We're here in your beautiful home in Beit Vegan in Yerushalayim. And Chaya, you were born in Germany, and Baruch Hashem, we're here in Israel. So if you could mention a little bit about your family. Where were you born, and how did you escape Germany?
I only heard about the Kristallnacht. That's what I heard from Mommy. Daddy didn't speak at all. And Mommy, well, they came, and it was night. Daddy didn't come home, but they took him. And exams and beating and, I don't know, torture. He nearly died. He nearly fell. And my mommy arranged the papers. She fled to a neighbor because we lived beside the shul.
In which town? Where did you live?
In Hamburg. Altona. Don't know where it was. It was near one another.
And how old were you?
I'm born in Hamburg, but I think the shul was in Altona.
And what year were you born?
In what?
Year. When were you born?
38. And you know the date, so what should I?
And can you tell us a little bit about your family, who your grandparents were and your parents?
I never saw my grandparents. But when I was a baby, they came out of Germany. They fled out of Germany, Baruch Hashem, and we too. So I knew my grandmother, but I never saw her. When I got engaged with Weill, Yichus, he's got the big Yichus, my husband. So she wrote to me and she sent me $100. And I had no contact with my family because they were all in America. And this not John Kennedy, the father of John Kennedy, was a big Rosh. This my daddy told him, that he personally was, he didn't give us the visa to join our family in America. We had the.
He was an ambassador.
Yes, the main ambassador, and it was under his care that we did not get a visa to America. We got a affidavit, but well, I don't know what that is, affidavit. But we had an affidavit because my uncle looked for us. He was there, and he was a very capable person. That's his picture in the hall. You can take it after. So he was a big personality.
What was his name? What was his name? Your uncle?
Rab Shamshon Rafael Weiss. And my daddy was Rab Binyamin Ze'ev Weiss.
And your father?
That's Rabbi Binyamin Ze'ev.
He was a Rav?
Yeah.
In the Kehillah?
Yes, he was a Kehillah, yes. I don't know, my telling is very mixed up.
So you could show some of the pictures of you have some very important...
Yes, of course, I have pictures where Daddy speaks, but I have to prepare more.
And
I can't tell.
Chaya, can I ask, how many children were you in your family?
When we fled, Yoshua Weiss, my brother and me, we fled to London. There we stayed alive. And my sister Shulamit was born. And no, Rosie was born after the war. And Moshe was born after the war in England. And then we came to Switzerland. Daddy got the job of a rabbi in the Orthodoxe Gemeinde, the Freigutstraße. And there was born Leah, Yitzchak, Mrele Esther. And my daddy always gave big compliments to my mommy that where she was, she brought children. And he honored her very much. And she didn't want she didn't want to come here. She said, I can't anymore, Daddy. I've been in so many countries. I've been in Poland with you, in the yeshiva.
Where did your father live?
He learned in the Mirror Yeshiva.
He was in the original Mir? Your father?
In the original air?
In the Mir? He was in the Mir?
Yes. He learned in Mir. This was his Rebbe, Rabbi Yerucham Leibovich. This is his picture.
So he learned under Rav Yerucham Leib?
במקור.
In the original...
Yes, when my daddy came to Eretz Yisrael, he always went into Mir. I also went into the Rav, and I went with my little children, and he blessed them. Yeah. But they buried me. You asked me about I was somewhere else with my telling. I have to prepare my speech. Well, then ask me. Then maybe you have more.
Right.
Did
your father used to speak a lot about his time when he was in the Mir?
He always told about Mir, yes, yeah. Tel Jagon. I have his books here. Tel Jagon. From Telj. Maybe he was also in Telj. Shiurei Da'at. Who wrote this? Telj. From Telj. My daddy learned this with us in the Unterricht, in Cheder. IRG called the Israelitische Religionsgesellschaft. This is the name of our shul. Orthodox Yekis. And my daddy worked very hard. He had also Widerstand. The former rabbi used to allow half sleeves, and my daddy didn't want half sleeves. And he was a Hatar Tamishpocha. He used to, on the council, he used to lacham bishul. Ulacham chazak. Today, if you go to the synagogue, you can't recognize it anymore. The boys to the yeshiva, he used to go home to the boys and persuade their parents to let the boy another half a year in the yeshiva, another half a year in the yeshiva, and the girls, Besyakov, Geitze. And so the Kehillah changed completely, but that is upstairs now.
And Chaim, was your parents, were they German origins? Were they born in Germany?
Daddy was, Mommy was from Katowice, and Katowice was on the border. And she went to a German school, and she didn't like the Polish. You know how it was once, like the Temanim and the Margaret. But it was actually Poland. But she learned German, and she knew German perfect. She went to a German school. And Daddy was in Breslau, Berlin. He made a doctorate in Berlin, I think.
But was he born in Germany, your father?
No, it's not Germany. I don't know. Czechoslovakia.
And how did they land up in Hamburg?
How did they end up
in Hamburg? How did they come to Hamburg?
Well, Daddy was a yeshiva bocher, and they looked for a rabbi. And Daddy could speak wonderful. He spoke in German. Well, he was the best German speaker around then in Europe. In Europe, you can say. Rabbi, the best speaker. He had such a wonderful wortschatz. His words, wortschatz. Can't say it. I can't say it. Many words, you know. Mila rodefet. They're all the same. He used to explain very wide the lovely language.
And did he speak about any of the other Rabbanim from the Mir?
Yes, of course. When we came to Eretz Yisrael, we came, and then my daddy visited us. There was Rab Lapian was, in the Mir Yeshiva there were. All the rabbis in Gateshead, they stayed alive. Of course. It was a Rav Steinhaus who came before I came. Zechron Livracha. Now I learn with her Rebbetzin together. She's already 100.
And Reb Chaim Shmulevitz? Yeah, the Keshe?
Well, I went in. They were in Shanghai. My mommy gave birth, so Daddy went back to Germany. And they could manage to, you know the story of Shanghai. Yeah. But when Daddy came for a visit, of course we went to Rav Shmulevitz. Of course.
And Rav Finkel?
Rav Finkel, I remember the old rabbi, yes, yeah.
such a schut to have learnt in the Mir.
I got a broche for my children. Yes. I went into Mir, you just came in. The boys just came into the flat of the Rosh Hashiva in Mir. And they just walked in. They went to the kitchen of the Rebbetzin. His daughter, Rebbetzin Shmulevich, Gita's sister, Gita's mother, Gita and Rivka and Ethel's mother, she knew everybody. She had such a memory. She knew all the Jews. It was the only Jewish organization which Hitler saved. I mean, which was saved.
Which was saved. The whole yeshiva was saved intact.
I think one fellow didn't. He had no time. He wanted to. Then he didn't get his passport. But all of them were saved. Yes.
There was the Minsk from Minsk, the Eloi of Minsk.
Who was the Eloi of Minsk?
And he didn't want to keep the passport. It was too dangerous, so he didn't make it.
Oh, is that this one?
No.
Oh.
It was the Eloi from Minsk.
Minsk wasn't Mir.
I know, but he came from Minsk.
Oh.
It was the Eloi.
Oh, you heard about him as well.
And Reb Chaim Balkin, Zichron Livracha, who was just nifter. So Reb Chaim Balkin was also born in Shanghai.
Oh.
And he had a strong kishur with...
I pity I didn't know him. He gave shiurim here, but I didn't go in. I don't know. Who speaks? Maybe he also spoke, and I didn't know it was Reb Chaim Balkin.
And can I ask, how did your parents leave Germany? How did they know after Kristallnacht to leave? And did they...
Raus. It was terrible. He nearly got killed. It was terrible.
And how did
Rav Karlebach said to my dad, he said, Gehen Sie, ich bin jung, ich bleib bei der Gemeinde, gehen Sie sind jung. So my daddy left the Kehle. He stayed with the Kehle.
So Rav Karlebach told your father that he should leave?
Yes. He was the old rabbi of the Kehle. And he went, and Mrs. Hirsch, my neighbor, she said, yes, the Rebbetzin has everything finished. He's got the passport, the suitcases, and her 5 little children. And she said to her, I don't know what to do. My husband wants to stay. So she stayed. And she got never with her husband. She wants to stay with her husband. She got also killed. I mean, at least she could have got away with the children, no?
The truth is, nobody really knew what was going to happen. It was, who was to know? But how did your parents manage to go to England? How did they escape?
When Daddy was verhaftet, Daddy was verhaftet 2 times. 2 times. On everything, on every one. He had a bath, and there was such a milk glass, You know what milk glass is? Glass which is not, you can't see through, but you can see shapes.
Like a shape.
And somebody went to the police that my daddy takes a bath in front of the window. They already took him. And something else as well. Everything. Mommy said once somebody came home and there was a Dienstmädchen, it. And then they checked, who is she? She had to show her whole years that she's a Jew. That Chas Chalila, there's no goy in the flat, that my daddy would go with this goy as well. And there were 2 lights, and Daddy learned in the night, and this mommy told me. And she went to bed. My mommy didn't have to see the light the whole night. Daddy learned a lot, 2 o'clock. And then they went to the police. The neighbor said, my daddy has got the ASIC with another woman, I suppose with this woman, with this Chaya. It was terrible. It was terrible. No, I don't know too much.
And Chaya, can I ask, when did your family leave Hamburg? Did they leave very soon after Kristallnacht?
Yeah, very soon, 2-3 weeks. And Mommy forgot the visa, derech Holland. She forgot to go to the consulate for the visa. She only had the other papers for America. She had derech Anglia, Durchreisevisum. You know that. But she didn't have a visa for America, but she had for England Durchreisevisum. And then on the border to Holland, Deutschland, Holland, she had no Durchreisevisa. And the whole train stopped because of my parents. You know, I still think I have this fright in me. I just feel it again. If they wouldn't have let us through Holland to travel to London, to travel to England, so we would have been pushed back to Germany. And then Mommy said they wouldn't have let us back home. No, they would have already deported us. It was 39, beginning 39, I think. Just before.
So did the Dutch authorities, did they allow you to continue?
They allowed us, yes, it was the train stopped and the Pakid went to ask to show our papers. So Mommy said these few moments were terrible. I still feel it, you know. Mommy told me, and
But you were too small. You were a baby. You were.
Yeah, but Mommy told this to me. So.
Do you have any recollections of?
No, I can't remember. This Mommy told me.
You were too small.
Mommy told me a bit. No, Daddy didn't speak. Well, he could laugh, my daddy. Could make jokes.
And from Holland, did
he wrote beautiful.
We'll see. And can I just ask, from Holland, then you went on to England?
To London, yes, and Sassoon fetched us. He was a Mirrebocher, Feuchtwanger. He fetched Daddy at the Hafen. And then she said, you know, that your daddy looked terrible when he came. He was the old shaven, white, it was terrible. And I was a baby, and Daddy came back from the Kristallnacht. They couldn't recognize him, yeah. They're all shoulder white and thin. They were tortured. Daddy always, he couldn't stand somebody walking behind him. This state couldn't stand that. She's, and they look at me the whole time. You can look.
It's amazing. And from London, how did you stay a long time in London, or you went?
No, it was, you know, the English, they were very good to us, I think, because they sent us to the Dörfer, to the countryside, because in London it was bombed, it was terrible. People slept in the underground, you know that, and so they sent us away on the countryside, but they took Daddy to the Isle of Man, I think.
Because he was
a German. We're spies. We're spies.
So he had to
spy. So we stayed with Mommy in Luton, I think, and on the countryside. And Mommy said she's pregnant. And then the neighbors said, you know, Mrs., you have to tell it to everybody now that you're pregnant, because they may say you had a soldier. They were good to us, you know.
And did your father or your parents, did they ever meet with Rabbi Schoenfeld, or did they have any contact with Rabbi Schoenfeld?
I came to seminary and I knew Rabbi Schoenfeld, and I said, Shalom, I'm Chaya Weill. So I said, Who's your father? I said, Theo. Ah, Theo. I said, ah, Theo. Yes.
Because he helped a lot of the Yidden on the Isle of...
Yeah, I think
would
through,
bring,
through him, of Schoenfeld, through his list of academium. That was, for this, my father's got a affidavit. Yiddish academium, Deutsche academium. My daddy had a doctorate.
So did Rabbi Schoenfeld, did he help your father come to England?
Yes, he had a group of such academy.
He had, that's...
Yeah, I said, sir, I'm alive because of you. I said to
because of, and you told it to Rabbi Schoenfeld?
Hmm?
You told it to Rabbi
Yeah,
Schoenfeld?
I went to him. I was in seminary, and he had the shul in where I lived with Diane Posen. I lived with Diane Posen, and they, because of political matters, they had to daven in this shul. Otherwise, they would have went to another steeple. But that was a synagogue. And he spoke in from the Majesty, Queen. They davened for her.
Because he wrote affidavits so that Yidden could come from Germany, from Austria.
He had families who took the... We had Sassoon, we were by the Sassoon, and also somebody else who didn't give us enough food. That he said he was never satisfied there. And that they looked for. And then Feuchtwanger Sassoon invited us, so that he said he could eat. They were not all, many people, I think also in Switzerland, they did it for the name, for their fame, that they can't speak so well anymore.
No, it's amazing. And can I ask, when
do you know Ruth Salomon? Have you heard the story of Ruth Salomon? That she was in a Swiss family. You never heard? Oh, that's I have to give you. Look at that. And she was saved. There was a Swiss family, and they took her, but she only did it for her, for her Gesellschaft. And it was terrible. She was mishandled. She was a marked servant. She was there. And then she became 18, and there were always people who helped her, And he said, you're 18, you may say what you want to be. You're not Catholic, you're a Jew. So she worked on it, and the Rothschild family took her out of it. She's passed away 2-3 years ago. But this was only for the fame. It was not because she had a good heart, this woman. It was a schlechte.
Not a good person. And how...
That was something in between. Many people made chesed because of their fame, because of their first ladies,
But Rabbi Schoenfeld, he did it...
No, not he.
He was very, very special.
No, not he.
He never had...
The people he went to people, and then could you take the achayas of this family? And they signed him, and with this paper he got a Einreise. What's Einreise? Permission.
A permission.
Yeah.
It was because it's like a surety that they could come, that they
wouldn't fall on the places of the English, that the Jews would look for them. Otherwise, England would have had to support them, or England would have sent them back.
So I went in Stamford Hill to his mother's home, where he actually brought the children and he put them in his mother's home because there was no place to put them.
Nobody.
There was a Blanca Stern. She still lives there today, and she came as a little child.
Blanca Stern.
Blanca Stern.
I was also a little girl. I was also a baby.
Yeah. And what is your first recollections? What is the first thing that you remember?
I remember a staircase with little electric lights, and my daddy always used to visit old people. He was such a Rav, he went to sick old women and he visited them. And she had such a staircase, and I saw little bulbs These little bulbs they put on for Hachnasat Sefer Torah.
And
I
Chaya,
remember.
when your father was in when he was sent away,
When they take him away to the Isle of Man.
do you recall any
I
of...
don't remember. I don't remember. But my mama became pregnant and she told it to her neighbor. And no, I don't remember it. And she said that there were cows outside, cows walking in the night. And one time a cow met the door, pushed her door, and she got such a shock. She thought it was a false. You know, they jump. A parachute.
A parachute.
But she took my brother and me into her bed, and she just was alone. And the war outside. And my sister, she gave birth to my sister. Then Daddy came home already.
And where were you staying when your father came home? Where did you live?
In such a little bungalow or something there.
And you stayed there for the duration of the war?
The English, they looked for, they were good to us. They were good to us. I can't say different. Once, when I was a girl, when I was a young woman, I came to London and I bought myself somewhere. And there was income tax. So I said, I don't think I need this money back. I can give this money to the country that saved my life. And then, why? Yeah, then when you see them afterwards, they were so happy to see me. I mean, I suppose they saw at home that they looked for the refugees.
Mm-hmm.
They're good to us. But I had muscle. I don't know. Maybe they were people weren't so good. The Goyim are not so good people as we are. But there are also Jews which are not so good.
Yeah. When did you go to Gateshead?
When? I don't know exactly. 4 years, I think. We were 4 years in Gateshead, I think. And we came to Zurich. I don't remember. I was
Do you remember Gateshead?
Yes, yeah. The houses. It's like in Lordship Park. These big these blocks, these red blocks.
And how old were you in Gateshead?
I went to Cheder, I went to Rav Cohn, the Cheder of Mrs. Cohn, the stuff who built up the seminary.
Mm-hmm.
And there was the daughter of Rab Lepien, Ariel Lepien, with her together, and with Rochel. Rochel is in America. She married a widow. You know this?
Mm-hmm.
With them I went together. And that you know that the Berman, Mrs. Berman, I forgot her name. Mrs. Berman, the young Mrs. Berman, I mean she's old now. She also was in the Cheder in Gateshead. You never heard her name. But I think she's not so well. And he's like, he's a big rich man. Berman from St. Moritz, the boss of St. Moritz out there.
And your father,
married her.
he was learning in Gateshead, or
yes.
And did he have a position as a Rav in England?
No. I learned in the Koilen, Dessler.
He was with Rav Dessler.
Yeah, Rav Dessler invited him to his Koilen. He should come. He should come to his Koilen. Because my daddy was rabbi in a Städtele, Blackburn, or I don't know. And then there was a rich Balabus, and he made chasana to his daughter, and then my daddy said, on the mikveh. So then came an answer, I'm sorry for the Rav, but my daughter doesn't go to the mikveh. So my daddy said, well, I don't give chuppah gedushim without mikveh, I'm sorry. So the other one said, but you have to, you're our Rav. So my daddy said, this minute I've stopped to be your Rav. And he left without parnosa, without anything. Yoli Goodman can tell you this story.
Sure.
You know Yoli Goodman? My cousin. He told me this story. They went to America. They were clever, they were quicker. Azayda Shalin.
So let's see the picture of your
This is
it's amazing. So your father, so he gave up his whole panosa, his whole...
Yeah, this is big Mesiras Nefesh. And then I suppose Rav Dessler. This is she's the daughter of Rabbi Yitzchak Schweiger. And Rabbi Yitzchak Schweiger he wrote a book. He wrote a book. He was a big Talmid Chacham. And he had many daughters. But she was the clever one and the frum one. And he had a yeshiva, Rabbi Yitzchak Schweiger, and he was the best bocher. And he gave the best bocher he gave to his daughter. And she was so pretty. The boys, they used to sing her melodies from the door downstairs. My Tochter. Huh?
And that's your, wow.
She was very proud, very proud woman. A very intelligent family there.
And this picture?
This picture is from mommy's side. This Weissler. I think she's Bata Cohen. Mishpachat Priester.
And where's your mother in the picture?
I think the dark one. Twins.
Your mother was a twin?
Yes, yeah.
And Chaya, what happened with her sister?
With her children, he managed with the Jugend Aliyah she had 5 children then, and two boys escaped with the Jugend Aliyah to Eretz Yisrael. To Eretz Yisrael. And where am I?
And your mother's twin?
And this is this is a twin brother. And he also there were children who could.
And where did he go? The twin brother?
The Sochnut took them.
And how come your mother didn't go with?
She was married already. Yes.
Wow. Okay.
She was married.
Sure.
She persuaded through her. So this was it. Uncle Fritz also stayed alive. He came with my parents, after my parents. So there was alive only Mommy and Uncle Fritz and his children, I suppose.
If you could show the picture again, so Uncle Fritz is on the...
But I'm not sure if who of the brothers was it. I don't know. One was married. She was married. And her husband is not here. Baby, if I count, I can tell you. 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, the husband isn't here. Her husband isn't here. She was still a girl.
Mm-hmm.
So this is from Weissler. They had a shop, and she was a bad priester. Priestess Cohen, so she was a bad Cohen, and I got her name.
From
They died soon, Baruch Hashem. They died before all this, she did. And my husband, he died with 60 something little. He passed away, so they didn't have to see the whole tragedy of the family. He was well off person. This was the shop of him.
Max Weiser. And where was the shop? In which town?
Nikola. I think it was Nikola. Deutschland, Poland. Nikolai, October. der Kaufmann, Markus, Max, Weiß, Nikolai. Hilda Weißler, geborene Priester seiner Ehefrau, ja, Priester.
Gee.
They're all religious, all through the door. Always.
And Chaya, you have a picture of your father and his family?
I shouldn't have. But I don't know if it's here. And I have. And maybe you look. I have very dry fingers, and I can't look so quickly.
And how long did your parents stay in Gateshead?
I think till we left, till we got the place. I think 45. I think. No, I have notes. I haven't got the notes to look for it. Downstairs I have a picture. Maybe here. I have to go down to look for a picture.
Yes.
But that's not a good picture. But that's a picture here in the hall. Come in the hall. Take it in. Yeah, why should I run down? I have to do that.
Ah, this is wonderful.
This was the Leibowitz. Up on the roof of Leibowitz. I took it from the desk before I left. And this is my baby.
This was your father.
That's his picture. This is Uncle Shamsham.
Very distinguished. Very distinguished. Very. Could see a very.
Yeah, I once gave it to an Arab to make the phone. Is this your father? Yes.
You can see you're very khushba. And this?
This is Uncle Shamsham in America. He preached in America and he preached in Europe. And they were wonderful. They had a lovely vocabulary. A big vocabulary. I didn't have the word.
A vocabulary. Sure. You can see there are.
Wow. My wedding he was, you know.
He came.
He came. For my wedding I have a picture here.
And then in this picture we can.
Oh, this is from you. This is my mother.
This is your mother. It's a beautiful picture. And this is an original?
Well, it was no, I don't think so.
It could be.
It was on the desk of my baby.
It could be original, yeah. Sure, very special, sure. And over here.
I don't know. We got it out from somewhere.
That's wonderful. So,
but you have the books
and Chaya,
this is my husband's parents. This is Bimi Bluma. Maar ik ga jou Shem Engelhard, מבית Engelhard.
Ah, okay. And Chaya, we have so many.
That was a clever jurist of Engelhard, this Mr. Engelhard.
We have a lot of pictures of these are all the documents from.
Yes, I know. Look at passport. Now my sister writing another book. Maybe you get in touch with my sister Leah first. the telephone number.
And your father got he got a degree as well.
Yes, that's
Wow.
that's why he got it in Zurich. Doctorate.
You got a doctorate. Wow.
Doctorate. Yeah. He studied in Berlin.
So it is here.
I think it was-
Theo Weiss
I think he was born in Breslau.
in Breslau. Yeah. It says Theo Weiss in Breslau. This was from Bonn in 1933.
Nach Rauf, Zwiespitz, Stein im Kuchen. No, wenn man schon.
And hey, if I can just ask, from Gateshead, where did your parents go from Gateshead?
To Switzerland.
From Gateshead they went.
We traveled over London. We stayed in Sassoon's house. I remember a big bed. It was so cold and I was alone. Big bed in a room. And then in the station, we arrived in the station of Bahnhof Enge, and Benny Rothschild, a little blonde boy with a basket on his back, gave flowers to the room.
And you went to which city in Switzerland?
Zurich.
You were in Zurich.
Yeah. I wanted to say something. Oh, this I can tell you. This I remember. When we traveled from Dover to Calais, there was a barrier, you know, when you go from a train to a ship, to check all the papers.
Just for a minute.
Check all the papers.
And you remember this year?
And then there was a barrier, and my daddy with the 5 little Kinderler, and all the people waited, and the Beamte, how do you call the Beamte? From the Fremdenpolizei, the one who checks the passports.
From the police, it's the customs.
Yeah, I don't know, captain from the police of the country. We left the country, and this family, they took our family in front of the whole row of people waiting, and we were first, and he gave covered l'arabe, this guy.
It's amazing.
This I remember.
How old were you when you came to Switzerland?
I think 9 or 10. I was in Kita Shalosh, Mati. Kita Gimel.
And did your father get a position?
Yes, he had a very bekoverte Stelle. The Rav von IRG. He was a big personality, my daddy. You never heard of him?
And this was in Zurich?
In Zurich, yeah. You know, the Chaverim, he got a big position, others didn't get so much of a position. Rav Steiner, he was in Copenhagen, also a nice position, but my daddy got every year such a bunch of bakashot, Letztoke.
For charity.
They came here, the Rabbonim came here after Gateshead. So there wasn't panose like my daddy had my daddy could speak very well. He had a wonderful language.
And he had a big kehillah, especially.
Yes, a nice kehillah. Now the kehillah is going down because they're Hasidic and the Litvish and Lubavitch, and they're parting already. It's a pity. My brother is very upset.
And how long did you stay in Zurich?
How long? Till I got married. I was in London 1.5 years in seminary.
In which which one did you go to? In London?
London, yeah. I can't sleep so well. So my friend said, listen, you go to Gateshead, it's a hostel, Pneumonia. You better go where you are. So I was by Diane Posen, and I had a quiet room. Sweet people.
And what's good?
Did you know about Diane Posen? Have you heard of him?
There's Rav Posen, who's he's a world authority on mikvot. There's a Posen, he's a world authority on mikvot.
Mikvah. Ah, yes, that's
He's
his.
my patient. He's my patient.
Ah, is he
And the
live in
relative.
Jerusalem?
In Kiryat Sefer.
Ah, in Kielce. Ja, wir mit mich.
He's in his 90s. Came
They're a
home.
bisschen mispochen with my sister, Mechotoni. But they didn't like me too much there in that family. I was too luftig, too well,
Very
spoiled.
special. He goes all over the world, and he's a world authority on mikvah.
He married his cousin, you know. You know that?
Yeah.
Yes, you know. How do you know that?
She's my patient as well.
Ah,
The Rebbe,
Ruth.
Yeah. I saw last week.
I introduced myself to her via Shidduch. I said, oh, she wasn't very exact.
Very special. Sure.
No, they didn't like me too much. I liked her the best of the whole family. She was a warm person. Her first child never died, but then she had a lot of children.
Yeah.
His father was a orech din, no?
I think so. Oh,
So
yeah,
I have
Chaya,
it.
yeah.
I have it. Look how small the world
It's a
is.
very small world. And Chaya, can I ask, in England, when you were in England, what do you first remember? Your first recollections as a child. What do you remember from England, or the first things that you remember?
I remember the station. This I remember. And I remember the big bed at Sassoon, but that's already later when we came out of England. But when I came, I was a baby.
Yeah.
And what did I have? The rows of houses in the Gateshead. In the morning we dressed near the fireplace in the kitchen. The Goya came and made the heat. She made the fire. And my little sister once crept out of the backyard, this I remember. The backyards, the bricks. Such a... Yeah, the food.
But there are the
He had a few good friends here, I did. I remember Mr. Plutznik, Zichron Livracha. So yes, whom are you going to invite for your chasana, Kvod Harav? So my daddy said, no, you, Mr. Plutznik. No, you can't do that, you're not a private person. So I had to marry, first the Balbati, the Vorstand, the top of the killer. And then the Balitchuva, and then those. לפי מספר, לפי דוגמה שלהם. But the shul was very full when I got married, like Yom Kippur.
And
He was very good looking.
how did you meet your husband? Was it through a shidduch?
Love story.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Was your husband? Where was he born?
He's born in Eretz Yisrael already. Yeah. His grandfather told me that they hit the rov, they took him out into the wood and they hit him. And then he came, he said, one child after the other, he sewed such a tarmin, and in the bottom he put dollars, and one child after the other sent to Eretz Yisrael. And then he came with his wife. He was clever.
Baruch Hashem.
33.
In 33.
Mm-hmm. And my father-in-law also, they came 33. My father-in-law he had a bank. He was very, very rich. A millionaire. He was sick and he died. And Abba helped his mother to pack the things. When they packed the glasses, he put the dollars in between, and then they sticked it. And so they prepared the newspaper for packing the glasses.
Wow.
And then he also took, I still have it. I call you to dig the ground. I still have it downstairs. Kli Avodah.
Wow.
He wanted to build up the kibbutz Chofetz Chaim.
They were in Kibbutz Chofetz Chaim.
Yeah, he was the first ones who built up the kibbutz.
Sure.
He was by Bagrut, so the German said, listen, you can't study anyhow, Weill, so you don't need You don't need to make the bagrut.
That's his metric.
So he left for Eretz Yisrael. He was a kibbutznik. He came. I gotta ask my husband. He knows about it.
No, so okay. I just want to ask. After you got married in Zurich,
Yes, yeah. I have pictures.
and it was a big chasana, a very big.
They how do you say that? Mitgemacht. I got a lot of presents.
And after the chasana, you decided to come.
I came here. It was very hard. I couldn't see my parents a lot. I couldn't even speak to them on the phone. It was very expensive once.
I know. And your grandmother? Did you ever meet your grandmother?
No. They left for America, and the other one died before.
And in America, you never went to. She couldn't come.
Daddy
and visit?
once, twice went to see his parents.
It was very difficult to go.
Yeah, he had no money also.
Oh, yeah, it must have been so hard to be separated and.
You know, you look. I won't say too much. You don't look as old as you are. How old are you?
and Chaya, I just want to ask, coming to Eretz Yisrael, you were happy that you came?
Yes, yeah, that was my best step in my life. I was the first one of my family after 2,000 years.
Sure.
Galut came here.
And did you come to Yerushalayim?
Yeah. And I had good in-laws.
And where did you come? Did you come straight to Beit Vegan?
No, my parents-in-law took a room for us by a Doda. But I couldn't sleep there, and I came, till I could buy it, it took time. But they were very good to me.
And when did you come to Beit Vegan?
A year later. A bit more than a year later when I came. I came 61 in the beginning.
So you've been here for...
January 60 I came. I got married 59, December 59, and we came on the ship a few weeks after January. And my parents-in-law helped us. I mean, my daddy, my father-in-law wanted me. He wanted the daughter of the Rov, he didn't want me.
Sure.
So he told me, I'll help you. So I said, Mr. Weill, I won't do anything before my parents don't know my husband. And I want him to learn in the yeshiva another year. He didn't learn, and my daddy always said, I want 5 years yeshiva before I give you to anybody. So he learned a year in the yeshiva.
Which yeshiva?
Hebron.
Wow.
And they didn't want to take him because he was in the tzava. He had the kippah ksruga, my husband.
Sure.
It was different then. But today, all of them, only kippot shcharot. It's very divided.
It's a pity that it's divided.
A pity, yeah.
It's a big pity.
My daddy didn't know about kippah shchora and kippah and tzava and all. Didn't know about this thing.
Oh, so I have to ask you, what advice do you give to your children and grandchildren? What message or what advice do you give?
Advantage.
Advice. Eitzah. What eitzah or advice do you give? A message do you give to your children and grandchildren?
No, I wanted them to be religious. I mean, no. That was very important. Shabbos, Yom, Tarat Mishpacha. We grew up like Jews. I mean, and we lived beside Kol Torah. My father-in-law wanted me to buy me a house beside him in town, so I said, that is the kasher ba'ir. The children will run on the street. Here's the yeshiva, it was free, it was very empty. My sister-in-law was already here. The American young couples came here from Chicago. Very nice.
And Eretz Yisrael, it's
I saw Eretz Yisrael before when I was a tourist. when I met my husband. I saw a Bet Sharim, the graves, and I saw Eilat, and I saw Be'er Sheva, and the pillar of the salt, what they say was the pillar of salt. I came around.
And did any other members of your family follow you and come and live here?
Yes, my brother afterwards came to the yeshiva, to the Mirror yeshiva. But he had a hard time. They were so poor. He had no blanket, you know. And he didn't tell me. So why didn't you tell me? I would have given you I had such a lot. Baruch Hashem, I had a lot of things. He didn't tell me anything. He lived in yeshiva, in Mirror yeshiva, and then he married to London. Was a big Talmid Chacham, my husband, and my brother, and he married the son of Dr. Merzbach. Oh, maybe you remember him. He was a big tzaddik. Here.
Yeah.
Also, you remember the whole story. How long is it ago?
Yeah, sure. So that was your brother's Keshe. Wow. And where did your brother live?
My brother's wife.
Yeah. And where did he
live? Which house? Beside the Hagro he lived.
Wow.
You don't know? You didn't live here?
No, I'm in here for many years, for 28 years.
You remember this both of them together?
Yeah.
Oh, it was terrible.
I know.
Such a lovely family. Lovely people. I used to go there. He always took me, always gave me. She liked me. I used to feel well there.
And do you still have a kisha with the mirror?
Okay, up and so I went there. But it was far, you know.
Yeah.
I went there with my children. Went to see the Rebbetzin. I went to see the Rebbetzin when she was sick. Yeah. And I also took the children to the Rav Shmulevich and asked him. He said, send them that they will go on to the yeshivas. I wanted to take him out of school. They said, on my big son, they said, he doesn't disturb. I wanted to take him out. And today he's a big engineer, you know, he makes all the little machines for the weapons, for the aeroplanes. He doesn't disturb.
Sure. It's very, you've had such an amazing life, such an interesting
life.
It's incredible, it really is.
Yes, did I?
But what message do you give to your children? The main message,
I learned in seminary, in Rabbi Dina seminary, that education is example.
Mm-hmm.
I was at home and I did my work, like my mommy. She cooked and she dressed us and she washed us. And when she had a help. I didn't have such a lot of help, but I had.
I just want to thank you. I'm going to just come in because I'm so grateful to you.
I don't know what I...
No, it's been. No, if you can sit, I'll just. If you could sit.
Do you want me to sit?
Yeah, please. I just want to thank you. I'm extremely grateful to you, and I've been here in Beit Vegan for 28 years, and it's such a special place, Beit Vegan, with such special people, and you should just have mazel and bracha and admei vestrim, and you come from such an amazing family, such. You witness history. You really nisim that your
my daddy said that Hashem took you like a blind, my child.
Wow.
I met him in the kibbutz.
But that you saw you escaped the worst part of our history, and then you saw the best part, coming back to Eretz Yisrael after waiting for.
Yeah.
We should just have geula and only all of Hashem's blessings and admei vestrim in good health. And mazel and bracha, and thank you so much. I'm so grateful to you.
The Shoah was behind me the whole time, and it still is.
It still is. Yeah.
It still is. When we meet, I say I have a friend, and European in the Baricha, we always speak about the Shoah. My age, only Shoah we still speak about it.
And you had many friends who were from the Shoah,
No,
survivors.
also not. Also Eidat HaMizrach. I stand there and I'm doing with the water. You know, we feel very sorry for you, what you pass. Just think about it. It doesn't go away. We won't forget. Jewish people won't forget.
But we, Bezrat Hashem, we'll have the Geulah, and
Yeah.
thank you so much.
Thank you. No, that doesn't. When my youngest made the shidduch, her first shidduch, she was very young, and she, with Rav Rosenberg, he built the Ulpana in Kfar Saba, he and his wife. And he, once a week, he met by Rav Ezrachi, and they used to say the kippot השחורות והkippot הסרוגות נפגשות. And the Rav Wolbe natan et השיעור. And then came the Erusin of my daughter, and the Mechutin told something which my daddy said in Gateshead, and my daddy said in Mir. He was the bocher. It was a bocher. My daddy was married, and then he asked him how old he was, and then my daddy said, I'm 3 years. So he said, how can you be 3 years? You're not. Now listen, since I come here to learn in Mir, I became alive. I was born. And this, what my daddy told me at home, he told at on the simcha of my daughter, youngest daughter, with Rav Rosenberg. And Rav Rosenberg heard it then by Rav Ezrachi, by the shiur with Rav Wolbe. I don't know if I expressed myself.
No, very well. It's amazing.
You understand me? Not my English.
That he felt he was, when he came into the mirror, he felt he was reborn. He was.
Yes, but that I heard the same story.
And you heard the same story.
That my mechut of my youngest daughter told me this story. What I said to Rav Wolbe. Rav Wolbe gave him a shiur.
And did you?
It's nice.
It's amazing.
השחורים והסרוגים נפגשו שם פעם בשבוע.
They meet once.
You get engaged, you make a shidduch, and you don't know where you are, and so
that's so true.
Make me so happy.
It's wonderful.
I was already at home. This my mechutin, zechron livracha. He could say something good. He could make people happy.
It's so important. It's so important.
He could take somebody. I was very happy. When she got married, I was very happy. He's a ben Torah as well. But they're Mizrachi. And here we are not Mizrachi here. Not at all. How you got the Kippah Shruga?
For me, it's we were brought up Kippah Shruga.
Oh, yeah. No, but my husband changed.
But
my husband also had a Kippah Shruga, but now he was a teacher in a.
Can I tell you something interesting? I learned Daf Yomi in Reb Moshe Sternberg Shul in Johannesburg.
Oh.
And Reb Moshe Baruch Hashem was my patient, and nobody ever said to me you should change your kippah. In South Africa, it didn't make a difference.
It's my dad. He also took my husband with the kippah shruga. We didn't know about these things.
In South Africa, it wasn't.
No,
it didn't make a difference.
My daddy also didn't look at that. I also didn't look at that. Ik is een entire. But she's a Leumi now. She's Leumi. They go to the war.
So can I tell you something quite nice? I heard this from, I'll just tell you this, I'll come in and I'll tell you. Because this really is a nice story that I heard from Ariel Levine, from his son, the grandson of Ariel Levine.
Oh.
So there was, big tzaddik, so there was, I'll just tell you this, I'll give it over, that once there was a bocher that he decided not to wear his kippah anymore. And then when Ariel Levine, the rabbi, used to walk past, he was embarrassed. They didn't want to see him. So he used to run away. He was embarrassed that he wasn't wearing a kippah. And once he came and he was right in front of Rabbi Levine, and Rabbi Levine said, well, why are you running away? So he said, I have to tell you, I feel so embarrassed. I don't wear a kippah anymore. And Rabbi Levine said to him, you know, I'm short. I can't see what's on your head, but I can see what's in your heart.
How sweet.
I can see what's in your heart, and that's what's important.
So
And
he
I
took
heard-
a
and I
kippah
heard
again.
this.
He put on a kippah again.
But that's what we heard, and it's who the person is.
You know, my totally can't say, but it doesn't belong. So.
But it's true. But it's just so wonderful and so amazing speaking
I also
to you.
have to face many things.
Yeah. So this is a picture of your Abba in Hamburg.
Altona, Hamburg, and that. And I've never been there. I didn't want to go there. And poor Dad is already happier.
And if you can show,
So this is Luton.
this is
Where is it? You said something with Luton. Luton.
so this is a picture. If you could just show this picture, this is
Maybe there's a boat in Luton.
very distinguished, very.
No, poor my daddy has more beard than he.
Yeah.
Poor, he's got more.
And this one was in Luton. Yeah. And then you have a picture of your before you went to
To Switzerland.
to Switzerland. So this most probably was taken in Gateshead,
Yeah, Newcastle.
in Newcastle. And yeah, here what a special
Gateshead,
family.
got the phone, Gateshead.
In Gateshead.
Here we go.
And here's a picture of your parents. Sure, it's very special.
This one. Ah, you took it, yeah?
No, if you can show this.
No, I'm not showing it because there are people who wouldn't get photographed beside their wives. It's not sneeristic, you know. But this is a wonderful picture. This you took already. It's by a simche. When Daddy used to give it roshe.
Can see you with simcha, with a lot of simcha, with a lot of happiness. And this is a beautiful. We have the one in color. That's very nice.
Oh, and this is not. Yeah, Shmuel. Why?
You have a very, very special mishpacha.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I so appreciate
You
it.
are also very special, Monsieur. I forgot your name.